this Connecticut connection, the engines, to that plane. You said earlier that you'd fight to get those planes built. Does Senator Blumenthal, when he has to face, when you're looking at deficits, when you're looking at funding the military and their needs and what they need to do their job, and then looking at protecting the home turf, where does Senator Blumenthal come on down? Where he's going to buck the military and say, no, you're going to take these planes, I don't care whether you want them or not, because it's good for Connecticut?
Not only good for Connecticut, but good for the nation.
But not for the
I
military.
respectfully disagree with the military. I won't hesitate to stand up to the president or to the military when I disagree. I believe that the F-22 is in the national interest, just as I believe our sub-program is in the national interest. Now, there the military may agree with me, but I believe very strongly we should be fighting for our sub-program, for our sub-base. I have consistently taken that position. In fact, have advocated for it back in many years ago when the 2-sub program was threatened, and the base more recently was threatened, joined with the governor, a supporting role to be sure. I don't take undue credit for the BRAC fight, but we were part of it. And when it came to actually suing the Department of Defense over its plan to remove planes from our National Guard base in Bradley, I went to court. I took legal action to challenge the Secretary of Defense, and we won.
But if every senator in the United States Senate is going to respectfully disagree with the military about what they need and what they don't need because they're trying to protect jobs in their home state, is that really good national security when we got 100 guys, women, deciding that they know better than the generals?
Not necessarily know better. I'm not that presumptuous, but I'm entitled to my view and my opinion, and I have an independent responsibility as a member of the Senate, very serious responsibility, Ray, to do my own review and reach my own conclusion, not be a rubber stamp for President Obama, not be a rubber stamp for the military. If the F-22 makes good strategic sense, if our sub-program is strategically vital, not just because jobs in Connecticut are at stake, but because our nation's security is involved. You know, I have a son who is a second lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps Reserve. And he will likely be deployed sometime in the next year to Afghanistan. We just, unfortunately, in Connecticut, suffered a loss of one of our young men in combat in that part of the world, an Army, member of the Army. We're very much involved personally in these decisions. We as a nation have to fight the war on terror, and we have to be mindful of our need to be strong as a nation in that fight against terror and in our defense of our nation. I'm proud of my son. He made that decision to go into our military after graduating from college. He'd been admitted to law school. He deferred law school. He enlisted in the United States Marine Corps Reserve, went down to Quantico, was commissioned as a second lieutenant. I had the great and very moving experience of pinning his bars on, giving him his first salute. As you know, the tradition in the military is for an officer receiving his first salute from an enlisted man to give him a silver dollar. Mm-hmm. So Matthew gave me a silver dollar. Of course, I had to bring the silver dollar down there so he could give it to me.
Of course.
You know, you never stop being a parent.
I understand that.
I feel a very personal stake in these decisions, Ray. As a citizen, as a parent, we all do. It's not just about Connecticut jobs. It's about our national defense.
Is the Vietnam issue in your mind past? I mean, is that an old issue now, or is that still there?
I think people are concerned about the issues like the economy, healthcare, education, the quality of our kids' education, which is a major part of our economic challenge, providing the skills that young people need to match jobs with what they can do. But, you know, about the military and my own experience, I'm proud that I served in the United States Marine Corps Reserve in a very small number of occasions, probably a small fraction of the hundreds of times I described my military service. I inaccurately characterized it. I've apologized. And it was inadvertent. That's no excuse. I take full responsibility. And I have apologized and apologize again for anyone that may have been offended, particularly to our veterans, and particularly to our veterans who served in Vietnam. And I believe strongly that the campaign should be about principally the issues of concern to us today, which are our economy, healthcare, education, our veterans. I will continue, I can pledge to you and to the people of Connecticut, continue to fight for our veterans as I have over these many years. And one of my first actions in Washington, I've said before, will be to champion a program called No Veteran Left Behind. No veteran left behind. When it comes to education, healthcare, job training, no veteran should be left behind.
You mentioned very early on that the race traditionally starts after Labor Day. You have a very untraditional opponent. Very difference in background. You public service, her in business. She's put her own money up to fight this. You have some financial resources yourself. Why have you not chosen to kind of go dollar for dollar, match her up, and put your record against public record against her business record, and even up the financial playing field?
Well, the stark reality is that I can't match my opponent dollar for dollar. I simply don't have anywhere near those kinds of resources. She has already spent probably more than $25 million. There's no way that I have anything like that kind of money. She has promised she's going to spend $50 million. And I believe the people of Connecticut want an election, not an auction. They want the best person for this job. And we have raised funds from thousands of people across the state of Connecticut who believe that I would be the best candidate.
But you're still trailing financially. You're fighting as an underdog financially.
We are an underdog financially, and we will be outspent. We won't be outworked.
How are you communicating that message to the people of not just Eastern Connecticut, but also throughout the state of Connecticut? Your record, the things that you've talked about, your plans. I'm getting flooded with, whether it's television commercials or direct mail, you name the message or the format, I'm getting it. And I understand it's a resource situation, but how are you to date, but also planning between now and the election to really get that message out?
We'll use all of the means available, and a lot of it will be my being in contact with voters one-on-one. You know, the people of Connecticut know me. For 20 years, I've been to the parades and the meeting halls, fairs, all of the places where people go, often talking to them one-on-one, but more important, listening to them. They know me. And there's a joke, you may have heard it, that if there's a garage door opening, Blumenthal will be there.
And that's true, and I've witnessed that over the years.
But we will also use, and we are using now, TV ads. We certainly take nothing for granted. We take no one for granted.
You know, that hard work and continues, I know, because I go to a lot of those same events that you're at. Again, yes, people know you, but they're also angry. So how do you translate that message to the folks that, yes, I'm an elected official, yet I'm different?
I think they know that I'm angry as well. They've seen me angry about Washington's failures, about it's failure to listen, failure to respond to our needs.